we're now in February, which means that the Illinois primaries are quickly approaching. They're coming up in March. And one of the heated races to take the seat currently held by Jan Schakowsky to represent Illinois 9th District in Congress. That's one of the big races that's happening. And joining us now is one of the candidates in that race, Kat Abughazaleh. Kat, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. Great job on my last name.
Thank you. I have been practicing.
They all have been.
I appreciate it.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for joining us. I know this is a very, very busy time for you, and I'm going to I'm going to ask a very simple, basic question that I like to ask all of our candidates. Why are you running?
Several reasons. The first of which, I feel a sense of urgency that I feel like most Americans feel right now. Mm-hmm. They're killing us in the streets, and we are expected to just have business as normal, business as usual. I felt that sense of urgency since before this. I was a researcher and journalist who covered the far right. This is the worst case scenario, but what I and my colleagues warned the Democratic Party about for years. And that's why I'm the only candidate in my race who announced my candidacy before the incumbent announced her retirement. And it wasn't because of any vendetta against her, but because that sense of urgency is really necessary right now. We are not in training mode. This is not a dry run. We're here. We're in the fascism. We need to do something about it.
Yeah. Well, I hate to bring up her age so early in this.
Please do.
Oh, I know, but it's like, it's so refreshing to see somebody who's like, wait, no, we have to change things. I can do that. I can make a change. And, there's something about that spirit that you're just like, all right, come on, let's do it. Jump in. It's like nothing against you, Jan. I'm a Jan fan. This is before, things, but we need to shake things up. We need some new folks coming in to represent the folks of Illinois. Also, I have to goof on your ad campaigns are just chef's kiss.
Yeah, excellent.
They are so good. I just want to let you.
Did you see the new fake attack ad?
No.
What is it?
Yeah, we have one. If you ever watch Parks and Rec, where it's like Bobby Newport, we did that, but for myself. So it's like Kat Abughazaleh thinks you deserve universal health care. It's a lot of fun.
Well, I want to thank you for all of that. And just thank you for just the chutzpah of all right, let's just do it.
And you are, Scott points out, a younger candidate than we're used to seeing. Are you finding that your peers are coming out for you and you're getting tons of support, and are they getting inspired by you and your movement?
Oh yeah, the momentum right now is just crazy. But I would say that this is something I didn't expect. We also have a lot of older support of people that want the next generation to have a livable world, a livable planet, not exist under the secret police. Yeah. Today we had 5 people show up to door knock in, what's the temperature right now, 23-degree weather, who had never door knocked for any campaign before, not just ours.
Oh, good.
And I think that's just because people realize no one's going to save us. We are what saves us.
Mm-hmm. We are. And, look, I mentioned this earlier in the show, looking through your platform and the issues that are important to you, the fact that you have basic existence is listed on as one of the issues, that hit me in a really profound way. I'm like, whoa, that's where we are. That is where we are. One of our issues is we just want to exist. What are some of the other main issues that you're running for on your platform as you're running to represent Illinois 9th in the U.S. Congress?
I'm so glad you brought basic existence up, because our top 2 issues are anti-authoritarianism and what I call basic existence. And that's my North Star. Everyone should be able to afford housing, groceries, and healthcare with money left over to save and spend. And we can negotiate and argue about how we get there, but that needs to be where we're going. And the thing is, incrementalism hasn't worked. We have to try something different. And housing, groceries, healthcare, but also education, climate, disability rights, racial justice, all of these things are tied together. And if we treat them in a piecemeal fashion, we are just going to end up in the same place that we always end up. And that's with half measures that get us into the moment we are now. I am very pro-peace in terms of our foreign policy. I've been endorsed by Peace Action, the largest grassroots peace network in the world. I am for democratic reform and also banning stock trading. If I vote anyone I vote for Speaker of the House, I will publicly say that they have promised me that they promote banning stock trading and also forcing members of Congress to sell their individual stocks. But most importantly, prosecuting ICE is my top priority, abolishing and prosecuting ICE. We have the most comprehensive platform in this race, but guess what? You can't afford anything if you've been shot in the face. You can't, pursue higher education if you're in a concentration camp. And we can't just pretend this was a bad dream. We need to prosecute these criminals.
Wow.
Yeah,
I'm just letting that sink in.
Yeah. What are you hearing? How do you get by each day when you're a young person, you're putting yourself out there? It's a big role to be a representative here in Chicago, and I guess you touch on some suburbs as well. How do you handle the criticism and the negativity that comes to a candidate that's coming, is forceful with new ideas and trying to be bold and progressive? How do you deal with it on a day-to-day basis?
Well, luckily, I covered Nazis for a living as a researcher and journalist, and so I've already grown that thick skin. It's honestly the best training you can have for running for Congress. But a lot of the things that were really stressful about the campaign honestly seem, I was federally indicted late last year, and it kind of put things in perspective. In fact, that day we were supposed to have a meeting of a bunch of little things that had fallen behind on the campaign. And then we all just sat on the couch and we were like, okay, well, now we know what's really important here. So I'm just supported by an incredible staff, our incredible volunteers, and then, of course, my partner, Ben, who's just the most incredible person I could have by my side.
And so what does that mean to be federally indicted to you, as far as, do you have to come up with the money yourself to defend yourself, or how does it work for people that may not understand?
Yeah, I'm really lucky that we have the campaign is able to cover our costs, which is necessary because I have less than $3,000 in my bank account right now, which is something that a lot of people face.
Sure.
But a lot of folks aren't in that position. And we're seeing across the country as more and more people are targeted by this administration legally. And for my case, it's less of a surprise than it should have been, because all of the people I used to cover as a journalist now run the country. Stephen Miller, Tom Homan, Dan Bongino.
Yeah.
So it was weird to be like, oh yeah, here the shoe just dropped, but also expecting it. But part of this, even if the case is, which, sorry, I shouldn't say that. Even if the case is BS, it's about the psychological warfare of it, of the stress, of the financial burden. It's awful.
Yeah,
I'm sure. And another reason for people to support you. You need support because you're out there doing it. I mean, there's not that many candidates that I've seen that have put their life. And when you go out to the detention center in Broadview, you're putting your life on the line for what you believe in.
And look, I should mention that some of my fellow opponents joined me out there. And the first week I went out there wasn't a single politician, and the next few weeks there weren't either. But they did join eventually, and I'm glad about that.
Yeah.
I want that to, I want to be clear. This is not, I don't want to detract from that, but I also want to set this up as the expectation so we don't have to wait for people to come out there, for there to be pressure to come out there. I want this to be the first instinct of everyone running for office.
That we all come out, and the whole idea of being a servant leader, it's like you are out there doing the work as well, like you said. So do you have any, so with your platform, as you were talking about, how it's very multifaceted, you need to be looking at education, housing, food costs, all of those things. Are there any practical proposals? Like, how do you plan to address those issues?
Yeah. So as far as, let's be real, we're not getting a bunch of progressive legislation under Trump. And I think we should be realistic about that. But as far as the general vibe of basic existence, protections against price gouging, building more housing with federal incentives to work with local businesses, and universal health care with full dental, mental, vision, and hearing coverage all save us money. They're more efficient and effective systems than what we have, and including a cost of living exemption to lower taxes for the working class, while also taxing wealth and investments for people making over $50 million exponentially, would bring in the revenue, but also, once again, these are cheaper systems. But as far as what we can pass under this administration, I want to spearhead AI regulation. There are 0 federal regulations for AI right now, and that includes, these databases like Palantir's, which takes our faces and puts it in there. These need to be regulated and deleted from the government's property. And this is one of the few things that I think we can pass with bipartisan support, especially because it was the one thing that didn't make it through Trump's big, beautiful bill, not being able to regulate AI for 10 years. Even Republicans thought that was a step too far.
Yeah. Where are you? I mean, this is kind of a loaded question. Like, where are you in terms of social media? You know, there's been a big move right now of everybody to delete TikTok that's going on because of the new ownership that was happening with the data breaches and people stealing information. Where are you in terms of of social media? Everybody is on. People that get their news, everything is curated. We do not receive the same sort of information. We spend a lot of time on social media. Like, where are you in terms of, and the tech bros have a lot of sway. We see that, you know, with Bezos, you know, this $75 million that they put towards this stupid Melania, quote unquote, documentary, you know, like they hold a lot of sway and a lot of power. Where do you stand on regulation of social media?
That's a really great question. I always tell people, don't listen to what I say, watch what I do. And even though there's like no perfect social media company, we try to have our values align with our actions. So for instance, we've completely left the platform of Twitter, which is now a website where people generate child pornography. It's horrific. And I encourage any other candidates to do the same, and certainly don't advertise on there, Jesus. But as far as regulating social media, I think we also get into the issue of overreach, like these laws that would essentially require you to plug in your ID to play a video game or to watch a movie, or even, you know, to be a little blue here, to like watch porn. These are basic things that people are doing in their own time, and the government doesn't need to be monitoring this, and it doesn't protect children. Instead, you're asking kids to put their face into a computer. I'm very against regulations like that. On the other hand, I think we should be regulating misinformation and AI generation. These are things like, you know, when your phone asks for cookies when you log on. Making companies ask users to opt in to their data being used to train large language models is a really simple way that we can at least cut down on what is essentially a plagiarism machine and give users more agency. Additionally, we need to be holding algorithms accountable that these tech billionaires create that literally exist just to make us angry at each other. It's a fine line. As someone that's very pro First Amendment, as someone that is a journalist, I don't think it's the government's role to be the arbiter of truth. At the same time, when you're doing tangible damage to so many places and so many people, we need to make sure there's accountability.
Amen to that. That's what I.
You know, an aside, you're a journalist. Is there a journalist out there today that you love, that you think really gets it right?
There are plenty. One I always shout out is my colleague and friend Marissa Kabas, Kabas. She has the newsletter called The Handbasket. She repeatedly scoops major news organizations that just refuse to hold people in power accountable. She is absolutely incredible. And of course, I'm partial to Mother Jones at Zateo News, my former employers. But they do really great work. And I think that there's a pattern of, you know, independent journalism, you have to be careful because there are a lot of grifters out there. But at the same time, a lot of these news organizations have incredible people working there, like the Chicago Tribune, but people in charge, like at the editorial board, that undermine their work. So really looking at the person rather than the institution is important right now. Yeah,
but what Scott said, you know, we don't know where to go. I mean, everything you look at, you have to double check it. You know, you see something and oh, wow. And then you have to say to yourself, well, just because I read it doesn't mean it's true. And we've never been in this position before. And it's hard to ferret out what is real and what isn't. And this is, I don't know how we can put the genie back in the bottle, but getting things like AI under regulation, I think, is a start.
Yeah. And like, there's never going to be a perfect world, but we can try our best to make things a lot better than they are now.
Right.
I remember that.
So as we are moving into the primaries that are coming up in March, what sort of events do you have planned with your campaign?
Oh my gosh. I will give you all a little scoop here. We're going to be having a concert that I'm really excited about. Stay tuned for details there. We have, let me check our calendar right now. My mind is always
do you have the date of the concert that people can kind of block off if you can't, even if you can't give
February 27th.
February 27th. And it's going to be here in Chicago?
It's going to be, I believe it's going to be in Evanston, actually.
Oh, okay. That's right there.
We have this upcoming week, we're going to be doing stuff with Evanston Stitch Works. I'm big on knitting, and we've had a lot of people in our campaign. Actually, yesterday we had people helping make no-sew blankets for unhoused folks. We are door knocking every single day, phone banking every single day, text banking every single day. If anyone wants to help us do that, you can join our Discord, discord.gg/cat4illinois, or go to cat4illinois.com/events. We really try to make sure that everything is accessible to everyone, no matter their income. So you can donate literally $1 for like a event that technically counts as a fundraiser, and email us your donation, and you can still come, because we don't think that politics should be behind a paywall.
I love it. All right. Well, hey, as we kind of have to wrap things up, but what would you say? What would be your parting message to folks who are looking at their choices in a highly contested race for the Illinois ninth for Congress? What is your final message?
This is the first competitive primary in this district since before I was born.
Yeah.
You have a lot of choices, and a lot of us, to be honest, will vote similarly on a lot of issues. And that's okay. It's really great that we are in such a progressive district. That means that you are voting based on how they will govern in this moment. How I will govern in this moment is I will spend every waking moment till the day I die making sure that these people are held accountable. I don't want to be in Congress forever. I want to get in, do some good, get some fascists out, and then go back home to hanging out with my cat and leaving it for the next person. I don't believe in power forever. Additionally, I think it's really important to recognize this sense of urgency. Is this a promotion for someone? Is someone going to run for another office in 2 years? And is this someone that is following or leading? And as far as our campaign, I'm the first one in this race. I was the first one to physically stand up to ICE, the first one to call for Palestinian statehood. And I absolutely refuse to compromise my values. I don't take any money from billionaires, any money from corporate PACs, and I'm the only of the top 3 candidates polling that hasn't met with AIPAC.
All right. Well, if you want to learn more about this exciting candidate, make sure you head to cat4illinois.com, and that's cat with a K. Cat Abughazaleh, thank you so much again for joining us today. Best of luck as you are headed towards the primaries in March.
We love your energy, and we love your commitment to what you're doing, and you're out there showing it. So I admire you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and thank you for your work, y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you.